people? BarberSoulseeka here. Got a video I'm about to do about cutting the crown. Alright? A lot of you guys, I'm sure, have been starting out cutting your hair, and sometimes you have a problem with cutting this part right here, the crown. The crown is different on different people's hair, okay? It's the crown or the swirl. Alright, some people have two swirls, some people have one dead in the middle. Mine, I know, is right about in the corner right here. Pretty much is like where all your hair parts, you know what I'm saying? Going all in different directions. And if you're cutting with the grain, it's very easy to cut that part because so many parts of that hair, all the hairs on that part of the head are going in different directions. So even though you're going with the grain, if you cover that area going with the grain, but you have gone against the grain in a part of your head, it's like a plug. Alright, so it come across like a bald spot. A lot of people get discouraged, you know, saying, well, I screwed up in that bald head. It's not even necessary. I'm going to show you starting out. Now I'm pretty good with cutting this part. I know pretty much the grain of my hair, the areas, so pretty much I can go with the grain in that area and not plug myself. But I've got to be very careful, you know. If I'm smart, I'm using a mirror to actually look at myself and see the parts that are, you know, which way my hair is going. If you are insistent about going with the grain, some guys, especially with waves, they don't want to go against the grain. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt your hair at all, either way. Actually, against the grain is probably going to give you, well, it is going to give you, I'll say it'll give you a cleaner cut. It'll definitely give you a more even cut because you're going against the grain, it's impossible. Unless the clip falls off, pops off, it's not on securely, it's impossible to mess up going against the grain. So when cutting this area here, the crown, that's my recommendation. If you don't want to plug yourself, that's the best way to do. Alright? So I'm going to be cutting, starting out, I'm going to try a 4. I'm not trying to give myself a big haircut, just trying to trim it a little bit. So here we go. Now, this part of my head, the hair goes this way, alright? So for me to go against the grain, I've got to cut this way to get a good even cut in the back. So there, I was able to trim it down a bit. Of course, I'll go a little more thoroughly. I was able to trim that area. No plugs. Everything even. Alright? And I will proceed to do the rest of my hair just the same, against the grain. My grain goes this way, exactly the way I brush, so I'm going to be cutting up. That is against the grain. Going back towards my crown instead of away from my crown. Alright? That's to be the best way. So you're starting out, you're beginning, you're concerned about, you know, screwing your hair up or someone else's hair out, especially around that area there with the crown. It's easy to do. I do it. Sometimes I'm not just not paying attention, haven't brushed the hair properly. It happens. To keep from doing that, go against the grain. That's the only answer I got for you. Or either be very careful going around that spiral. Alright? Any other questions that you need for haircutting? I got plenty more to go. Be your own barber. Nobody will take their time and pay attention to the detail in your head like you will. Alright, next time.